What's up, guys? First of all, I just want to say, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you do that. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about here today is what has been going on here in the WWE. Now, there's been a lot that's going on, but I wanted to address something. The WWE, ever since about WrestleMania 32, they've tried to build this idea, this sort of image that there's a new era. And as I've been watching, one of the things that I'm really starting to think in my head, or one of the biggest questions that come to mind is the WWE, is there really a new era in the WWE? And quite frankly, my answer to that question is no. And let me explain why before people might point fingers or do any of some sort. First of all, there's only one thing that has really changed. There's only one thing that has that's out there that I give credit for. And that's the fact that NXT, a lot of people from NXT have been called to the main roster. So that's about the only change that has really taken place, is that now a lot of the people that's on the main roster are from NXT. Okay. That is one out of several things that WWE has still not changed. A lot of people will say that in order for WWE to be great again, in order for it to proceed, that they should change how it is, by being PG. Now that's something that if they had did that, that would be a massive change. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about changing the kind of program that WWE is. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something more deeper, something more, crazier than just that. And one of the things that, I've been thinking about is, okay, a lot of people have been called to the main roster and they're talking about all new matches and it been a new era. But let's face it. First of all, if this was a new era, then that would mean that, for one, that when Zack Ryder won at WrestleMania 32, it would have actually meant something. It would have actually pushed his career, not put him right back to where he was the night after WrestleMania, for him to get one night of shine, to lose the title the next night. That would have not happened. He would have still been champion right now. He would have kept it for a couple of months. That's one thing. On another end, if this was really a new era, they wouldn't sit here and keep having the Bullet Club do the same thing each and every week. They wouldn't sit here and have them either get themselves disqualified or consistently lose to the same, people. If that's, and I'm not trying to get on Roman Reigns, because that would be a whole other video talking about Roman Reigns, but that is kind of getting ridiculous that they keep doing the same thing. They have this team face the Usos or something like that, and they always getting themselves disqualified. And they had 6-man tag the week before that. It was them versus the Usos versus Roman Reigns, and then they got themselves disqualified again that week before this one. And I'm just like, when are they gonna actually have the Bullet Club mean something? When are they gonna have them? First of all, when are they gonna have them face somebody other than them? And when are they gonna have them actually mean something? That's and. You think that you bringing all these people from NXT is really, really going to make a difference? Is it really? And I'm not saying they don't have the talents. What I'm saying is, I know how WWE is. They will sit here and they will call people up to the main roster, and then if they're not impressed, if Vince or one of them are not impressed by them, then they just dump their characters straight in the toilet. And it's just nothing. Look at the Ascension. Ascension came in late 2014. Now we're at Ascension. They're completely irrelevant. You know, and that's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous how they sit here and they bring people to the main roster, and then next thing you know, they end up, you don't even know what's going on with them. Even now, Paige, for a while after her debut in 2014, she was relevant for a lot of, well, a big part of 2015. But then after a while, she wasn't on television for a while. You rarely heard from Paige. It's like, I just don't understand what it is with them. And first of all, how about WWE define what a new era is? For goodness sake. If first of all, if this was a new era, let's think about a couple of things they could have already changed. Let's think about the Raw Arena itself. If this was a new era, then the Raw Arena would have been changed completely. They would have changed it. They would have remodeled it. It would have been a whole different thing. If this was a new era, we would have had new commentators. We would have seen, we would have seen them get rid of Iron Jackson or get rid of either JBL, Michael Cole, one of them two as well. Have some full new commentators in there. One of the best commentators that I liked was JR when he was around. When him and Kane did it together, he was one of the best. He called some really good matches too. No doubt about it. I miss him. If this was a new era, then they would be doing those things than the stuff that they're currently doing. And one of the things that irks me the most, that irritates me the most, is the fact that the WWE have been consistently editing cheers or boos towards superstars. How do you expect to gain views, to gain people paying tickets, to gain any of that if you're sitting up here putting a fake, false thing of the audience? Let them be them. Let them express themselves. I mean, I just hate that when they use fake cheers and fake boos. For SmackDown, that is one thing, because SmackDown is pre-recorded and they can do that with SmackDown. And SmackDown, first of all, another thing, if this was a new era, SmackDown would be getting more watchable. They would take that away from SmackDown too. Now, as a matter of fact, SmackDown would be just as watchable as Raw. It would be just as relevant as Raw, because lately SmackDown, it's getting there, but you could still tell that a lot of times the crowd is still dead. It's that crazy. But you say that this is a new era, but yet you still do the exact same stuff. If this was a new era, you would have changed a lot within the WWE. You would have changed the way of how they proceeded in all some sorts. You want to know why eras like the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era, why that was so successful? A lot of people say they missed the Attitude Era. Me personally, I was not born that era, but I do know about the era. I know a lot of history about the era because I looked at a lot of videos about the era, so I know a lot about the Attitude Era just as well as the Ruthless Aggression Era, because, Ruthless Aggression Era, I was a little boy around that time. I was around like a kid, and Attitude Era, I was a baby. I was born in 1989, so but at that point, Attitude Era was just 2 years from ending. So it's like, the reason why those were so successful because the storylines were more powerful. You got weak build-up towards some of these storylines. If this was really supposed to be a new era, they would be fixing the way how they do storylines. They would be fixing the build-up. They would stop with these useless promos that don't benefit anyone. They would actually have them let the wrestlers express themselves and not seem like they're saying something written off a piece of paper. Because one thing that will get a wrestler big is the simple fact of them being themselves. Rock will tell you it. When he did the character Rocky Maivia, he hated that character because he wasn't being himself. He had to sit there and smile and do all that all the time, and that's why people hated him. this is one of the reasons why WWE is dropping now. This is why the company is going in the toilet now, because of some of the dumb decisions that they're making. It is the booking that sometimes they do. It's the creative writing they do. If this was a new era, a lot of this stuff would have changed by now. First of all, like I said, the Raw arena itself would be changed. The commentators would be changed. Even hell now, they would even change the excuse me, they would even change the Raw theme song, because one of the things about Raw, ever since about 2012, around the time they had the 1000 episode of Raw, the theme song has been the same ever since. If this was a new era, they would have changed that, but no, they just won't do it. They won't change that. If this was really a new era, and I'm not saying Tonight Is the Night is a bad song, but if this is really supposed to be a new era, it would be a lot that they would change, but they have not changed it. And if this was a new era, you wouldn't have released all the people that you released. Let's think about it. The only reason why some of these people are even fortunate to be at the position they are right now is because of the amount of injuries that took place last year. If it hadn't been for Cena's injury, if it hadn't been for Orton's injury, if it hadn't been for all those stars that Vince McMahon or Triple H, one of them that they rely on to be the top dog, that they rely on to lead everything, this would have never happened for those who stood in NXT or for those who weren't looked at. None of this would ever happen, which is why it pisses me off that they did what they did with Zack Ryder. Because you sit here, you have him win at WrestleMania, which a lot of people said the only reason they did that is because Neville was injured. But you have him win at WrestleMania just for him to lose the next night. For what reason did you do that? For what reason did you tell Zach, I'm going to have you win one night, get your one moment, then we're going to put you right back to being a jobber? For what reason did you do that? Now, the way how it seems, they seem like they're trying to do something with his character. They seem like they're trying to have him, kind of a little bit like the Daniel Bryan thing, but a little bit different than that, where he's got to really, really fight to climb himself to the top. But one thing about him is, we all know he had his own internet channel, and in general, he just literally got himself popular his own self. The WWE didn't do anything for him to get popular. It's people like that who don't deserve what they get. And then some of the people that got released, for what? For what reason did you release? And like I said, and I'm not saying, what I'm about to say might get a little bit heat, but I am not, first of all, I'm not saying I agree with CM Punk what I'm about to say, but I can understand why now, looking at what WWE is doing now, looking at how it has just thrown people off the toilet, how it's just had people from one way and just thrown them out, I can understand why CM Punk left the company. And at this point, I will understand why CM Punk would not want to come back to the company, because of the direction that they are going. The pay rates, the amount of pushing in general, not giving people the proper pushes, slanging people back, having people get one moment of shine, and then it just drops out of the bushes the next day. For what reason are you doing this? You call yourselves trying to supposedly have a new era, but yet you wonder why Raw now, because at this point, usually this is when Raw is always number one on, every time it comes on a Monday. This is when Raw is always the number one show. But Raw is being like second and third. NBA is beating it. You got other stuff beating it at this point. Around the summer and spring, this is when Raw is getting the most ratings. This is when Raw is really getting out there. But they wonder why this is not happening. It's because of what you're doing. But this is supposedly be a new era. Give me a break. What kind of era is this? This is not a new era. I don't believe it's a new era at all. All it is, because they know daggone well that half these people they call to the main roster, if Vince don't like him, because he has the last say to everything, if he doesn't like the person, if he doesn't see high potential in the person, if he sees that they're, slacking, or he sees something like that, or him and Triple H get into it, that person winds up going down the drain, and, and then they're just irrelevant. That's just how it works. They get one big time where they're like this and that, and you get to enjoy the time that they're doing it. But after that time, that's it. They're right back down. Is there really a new era in the WWE? No, I don't think so. I don't think there ever will be a new era in the WWE, quite frankly, because they don't know how to handle themselves. Until they make some actual official changes, because you can make new matches all day long. And even now, they have not changed that because they're so full of crap. Because even now, yeah, you make a new match, but who wants to keep saying the same thing over and over after you've already done it? If they have good chemistry, that's one thing. But after a while, you're just like, who wants to keep saying this? You would stop with that. You would let wrestlers be themselves, which is one of the things they have not done. They will not let them be themselves. They always gotta, they always gotta say these dumb promos sometimes that are literally seem like it was written from a script. If this was really a new era, you would get this out of the way. You would have your self-control. All this stuff would be fixed. But no, they don't want to do it. And yet they wonder why the company is going down the drain. Even look at the Ascension. That team started in late 2014, as I may have said. And look at them now. 2015 wasn't even half over yet last year before they became irrelevant. That quick. That's how fast they go. But that's all I got to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do that. Give the video a thumbs up if you like this video. And peace.